final corner at turn 20. Is Heidfeld going to fancy a look into the last corner of the race? Heidfeld goes to the inside line and they make contact and they're both off. And that's an accident for Nick Heidfeld. He has gone off the circuit. The two of them come together in the final corner, which means Lucas de Grassi is going to take victory in the FIA Formula E race here in Beijing. A dramatic, dramatic end to the race as Nick Heidfeld is pitched into the air after contact. Beijing, here we go. This is on board, coming down towards the final corner. Heidfeld goes to the inside, and I mean that's
that's.
I mean, ideally, we didn't want to put the crash structures on these.
Yeah, from the in-car it's clear, isn't it? Let's watch again from outside in case.
He checks to the right, he's not there.
No, I mean, that's just silly.
I mean, I do try to stay impartial at times, but...
Those curbs just sent that car into there. We've got to rethink that, because that happened at Spa.
Taking up the battle early in the going. It doesn't surprise me a bit that Mario...
And an accident, the 11 car, that's Kevin Cogan up on its side in the pit area. A serious accident in the pit area, but look at Cogan. The car cut in half. The car in half, but Kevin Cogan climbs out. This accident occurring up at the head of the pit area. The crews are there, no fire. And once again, a tribute to the safety of these cars. Kevin Cogan climbs out of his broken and split machine. A tremendous impact against the wall coming off of 4, the yellow flag. Here is the situation. Let's just watch. Coming off of the 4th turn. Cogan taps the outside wall, the inside wall, and then the end of the pit wall. Now there is an attenuated barrier right there at the end of the pit wall. There is also an ABC Sports camera right at the end of that pit wall. The field now very, very slow behind the pace car. Here is that camera at the end of the pit wall. You see Cogan sliding. He comes down. Now watch. Kevin Cogan impacts the end of that attenuated barrier, which absorbed a great deal of the energy in that impact.
Heidfeld battles for 5th, but the German is too eager on the brakes and the repercussions are horrific. That sends shockwaves down the pit lane.
I saw that it was right in front of me. Huge chance. You're right, tax. You're right, tax.
Sato's non-reaction prolongs the agony, while Heidfeld is safely evacuated. The replay illustrates what a lucky escape Montoya had. Heidfeld escaped with bruising, but Sato is being taken to hospital. Fortunately, he looks to have escaped serious injury.
最終コーナー一つ手前でリアウィングが脱落した。ダウンフォースを失ったマシンは切りもみ状態となり、タイヤバリアに激突。クラッシュの少ない中島、ここ10年で最大のクラッシュだった。しかし自力で脱出。 背中を強く打つとともにタイヤバリアで頭を打つ。 OK とは言ったものの倒れ込む。イワン・カペリが介抱する。外傷はなかったがこの後10日間はマシンに乗らず様子を見た。ベルガー・グージェルミンも心配してやってきた。2月20日、中島は日本の病院で再検査。どこにも異常はなかった。
Pablo Garcia out of the race, guys.
There are 5 cars locked in a pretty good battle for 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. And the number 9 machine, Kristen Airy, Anders Krone, hits the wall, and we've got a bad crash in front of you in turn 2.
The back of his car has been completely eliminated. Car number 9, that's Anders Krone, is underway. He is into the grass and moving. They were 3 wide. There is pieces of the car all over turn number 2 and the short chute here. They are quickly. The back of the car is completely gone. And that car, the driver though, we are seeing them take the headrest away. And we do believe it is Goncalves, the number 4 car. Goncalves was running 3rd as Garcia.
Like the front end of the nose pretty heavily compromised. Let's see if my theory holds true. Oh boy, almost went out of the park. It's right on board.
It sounded like the throttle stuck.
Holy cow, the throttle did stick. That was bizarre. It sounded like he went to it.
well.
Oh!
Pick up the rookie, there's a spinner!
Connor Daly.
Connor Daly spins and
Big
hard hit for, I think,
Oliver Askew.
Oliver Askew lost it in the smoke, and that was a massive hit.
That was nasty.
So it was panic in the back when Connor Daly lit it up and lost it. And then you can't, I would imagine, Townsend, that the smoke he probably couldn't see.
Well, but he was, I mean, he was so fast onto the scene. I'm not sure if Connor Daly was hit or what happened. Is the AMR team quick to tend to Askew, get the fire out on the right rear?
That was a big hit.
Wow, that was a vicious angle, too, that he came darting off of turn 4.
Not to bring up bad subjects, Danica, but you've had accidents where you just go straight towards the wall. I've actually never had one, and you're just a passenger. You're like, oh my God, this is going to be a big one.
So that's Connor Daly in the US Air Force Chevrolet for Ed Carpenter Racing. Connor is talking to the AMR safety team.
Connor just loses it on the power. He's down way low. Lots of smoke. He's got the throttle wide open. And in the back here, I don't know if he got touched, but bang, side slap, pancake the wall.
Thank goodness for the safer barrier. Thank goodness for the safer barrier.
I wonder if Connor got his left front onto that apron that caught out Alonso in practice.
Yeah, I think it might, Townsend, it was maybe just trying to get squared up to get a run and on that concrete. We'll get a great view right here if he touched that concrete. Yeah, he's on the concrete.
Yep.
So on the concrete, it jacks weight in the car and you're full power, and he loses it, keeps the throttle buried. But it'll be interesting to see if we can get an angle if Askew got turned by somebody because of the way the trajectory was where he went towards the inside.
The view from Zach Veach in the game bridge on board.
There goes Connor. Veach to the high side, but we still don't really see what happened with Askew.
Askew was fast arriving on the scene behind Elio Castro Neves and Simon Pagenaud. Look down to the bottom left. He just took evasive action.
Yeah, he just got caught in the smoke and didn't know where the car was. You couldn't see it. I couldn't see it even with the camera, the high angle, and he just was trying to avoid it. And
just had a big oversteer moment there.
Now Ralph's in trouble. A left rear puncture spears him backwards into the wall, knocking him briefly unconscious and nearly taking Webber out. Ferrari seek a tactical advantage by bringing Michael in for fuel and tyres, while the younger Schumacher wonders what happened. Michael realises the severity of the accident and turns his thoughts to his younger sibling. Ralf receives the undivided attention of the medical team. A second Michelin puncture in only a matter of minutes puts the tyre company under scrutiny. He appears bruised and shaken and is taken to the Speedway's medical centre for observation. Williams and Michelin look for clues to the incident from the wreckage. With the area all clear and Ralf on his way to hospital, Williams...
There we go, he's lost it early on, and yeah, that's a heavy impact, and worse than that, it was at 90 degrees. At 90, and I think that knocked him out pretty much straight away, James, if you look. And we're going to see another angle of it now. He's already had the incident. There then is the debris. Ralf making it several hundred meters down the racetrack, and that's going to take some clearing up. I think they've got to throw a red and clean this place up and give these guys all another set of tyres, because they've been through way too much debris.
Wow, look at that.
during this morning's free practice session in Barcelona, he lost control of his car on the circuit's final bend. The impact ripped the front end.
Mika Häkkinen tried his best, was probably one of the quickest through that chicane, but had to settle for third. This accident happened on Saturday morning, right at the end of the unofficial qualifying session, the on-time session. 2 times 45 minutes. Andrea Montermini, making his debut for the Simtek Grand Prix team, crashed heavily coming onto the main straight, but we are very happy to say that Andrea is now back in Italy with no worse than a broken toe, a cracked heel and a couple of stitches in his head because he knocked the steering wheel. So Andrea very lucky to walk away from a shunt like that, and although the front of the chassis was completely destroyed, all the safety people were very happy that the chassis stood up to this impact. It was 215 kilometers an hour when he hit the wall.
Chase Austin has made heavy contact back in the pack.
That is a vicious hit for Chase Austin. It looks like he's moving in the car, so that is very good news indeed, but that was a really big hit. I really hope he's okay there. That's just another one of those when you're running so tight, you're doing 200 miles an hour, and big crashes can happen, and that is... Oh, that is just the worst possible impact right there. That is a bad, bad hit. I, again, really hope that Chase is okay after that.
He's out of the car. The Homacho safety team is still working with him on the scene. Jake Query is headed to the medical center, so he'll get an update in a moment. Maybe the tires help just a bit there. At a very difficult angle. The rear of the car, the front of the car destroyed. Chase Austin.
Yeah, he just hits at the worst possible angle there, right where the safer barrier and the tire barrier kind of come together. So it really is just the worst spot on the track you can probably hit.
Well, we won't bother speculating. We'll wait for reports. Expected to be more of the same.
But the starter waves the green flag, and the cars leap into the race. Barely into the first lap, Salt Walther careens into a wire mesh fence, spewing 75 gallons of burning fuel onto the crowd. A dozen spectators are injured. Walther, at 25, the youngest driver on the track, is badly burned. The race proceeds slowly under the yellow flag.
Duel at an average speed of about 210 miles per hour here at Twin Ring Motegi. Oh, and a big crash. Someone has hit the wall. Bobby Rahal. A massive crash that has sheared the right side off the car. A small fire at the back of the wreckage.
That'll be an oil fire. That's just an oil line that's broken. It's not any fuel.
You see him moving in the cockpit. Rahal was running in third and cutting some extremely quick laps as the kart safety team locks up the brakes in their rush to the aid of Bobby Rahal.
Goes right in there. He'll ask the driver if he's got any problems. If he's conscious, he'll make sure that everything's okay. Talk to him before they try to move anything in case he is hurt. These guys travel with the series.
So they know that Bobby is out, limping on that right leg slightly. But other than perhaps a little bit dazed, it looks like Bobby Rahal is all right.
Entering one, now two. Oh, and it just loses it a little bit. Saw a puff of smoke out of the right-hand side of the car, and he just loses. It just goes up a little bit high, and at that speed, there's nothing you can do. You're running so close to the walls anyway. Got in there, tore the whole right side, spun it around. The air got under it, and spun him over.
The most serious accident occurs during the trials when the ATS of Marc Surer crashes head-on into a cement wall. The driver's legs are broken, and he remains imprisoned inside the wreckage. Surer's recovery is a slow and difficult one.
Back and just really has kind of run where he came out. He hasn't been able to pass anybody. Hasn't really been.
Oh, and we have a big-time crash on the backstretch. Looks like that it is Davey Hamilton involved, along with Sarah Fisher.
Yeah, Davey Hamilton, the yellow and red car that appeared to have a lot of damage. Sarah Fisher's down to the inside.
When the crash occurred, we see Davey Hamilton moving around in the cockpit. As a matter of fact, he's thrown out the steering wheel, so that is the best thing that we can see. Here is the crash.
Well, they're taking. Oh, contact was made between Schrader and Sarah Fisher back there. She just kind of ran over some stuff, but Schrader and Hamilton, when they got together, let's see what happens as they. Oh,
Schrader
engine
blew his engine.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah. Everybody was a victim of circumstances right there. It wasn't anybody's fault. When that engine let go, Schrader couldn't do anything. Hamilton tried to go to the outside to miss him, but got caught up and into the fence.
Boy, he took a ride.
Yes, he did. And you can see that oil was just everywhere. Hamilton just barely clipped him, but boy, he backed into the fence very hard. Almost gets upside down. He hit that wall a ton, and Sarah Fisher just got into the debris.
Now, at regular speed, we're on.
along the straight, close together, and there's a tremendous accident. Herbert, Wojtek, Griard, and so many cars. I cannot see just how many people are involved in that, but it is virtually the whole of the field behind the first three. A huge impact there with Wojtek touching Johnny Herbert, as already the red flags are out and Martin Donnelly returns here to the start. Let's see this again in replay. Full speed, yes, a touch between those two. They were ploughed into by Olivier Griard, and that's Gary Evans there having a huge accident all on his own. The spinning red car that you saw coming down there was Andy Wallace in slow motion. You'll see that touch. They both hit the bridge parapet. Nowhere for Griard to go. Mark Blundell somehow misses it all. Wojtek's car rolls down the barrier there. The driver does not actually hit the Armco. Cars everywhere. Johnny Herbert hit by not one but several cars there. And here is the scene following the accident, with Wojtek receiving minor injuries. Griard, in fact, briefly trapped in the car, but okay, except for bruising. But unfortunately, Johnny Herbert sustaining 2 dislocated ankles, some broken bones in his foot, which are going to keep him out of racing for quite a long time. Griard's car, there is Herbert's car, the front cut off to release the driver. A huge frontal impact as the cars are brought in, and an enormous amount of tidying. Wojtek's car, not a wheel on it, all but totally destroyed.
Now here's another look. Oh my.
That is Christian Fittipaldi's car just exploding into pieces, and here he comes with nothing left on the car. Oh my, that was a big crash coming into the first chicane.
DeFerrin touches the wall on the left as Michael Andretti works his way through the debris, followed by Andre Ribeiro with the bright lime green nose. There is Christian Fittipaldi. It looks like he's all right.
Somehow he must have touched wheels with another car, and it just turned him straight into the wall.
Fittipaldi remains in the car.
Okay, there's no one in front of him. He's coming by our commentary position. This is the start-finish line coming down to the first chicane. Oh, he must have got touched. Oh, youch! He must have been touched from behind because he was on the straightaway and someone touched him.
And he is in pain. You think about legs and feet at this point. The front end of the car missing completely.
Oh.
And we have a red flag. They will stop the race. What happened, John?
Well, it's on the front straightaway. The contact has already happened between the two cars, and then very heavy contact for Christian Fittipaldi right at the pit exit. But now remember, his car has no brakes. No way to stop this thing. He comes down, flies over the curb, and he really is just along for the ride. Nothing a driver can do at this point.
As you can see, heavy damage to the front end of the car. Now we'll take another look at that same shot in real time so you get a better idea of the impact.
Look at the debris that the other cars are having to thread through. Now remember, when a car really just explodes like that, that is what you want. The designers want the car to dissipate the energy, but this is an incredibly heavy hit. If we go back to look to see how it happened from Michael Andretti, you can see ahead, there is Gilles de Ferran. He's trying to move to the left to pass Christian Fittipaldi. Christian moves to the left to keep him behind. They make contact, and then, wow, straight into the wall.
And look at the debris. Down to Gary Gerald, standing by with Gilles de Ferran.
The first driver to put any lap in the 231 so far. Trouble! Oh, what a crash! What a terrible crash!
That was a hard hit. He's fine. Wow, that just shows you what happens when these cars come unglued to the track.
Look how fast the safety team has responded, and right there beside his car. That's a mere seconds.
He had done 2 laps in 2:31. He just went that little bit over the edge, Scott.
Well, we're not sure if something broke in the car, Eddie, or what happened here, but such
Of the day at over 231 miles per hour, and then this, a frightening crash. Worst I can recall in many, many years. And for Sebastien Bourdais, we were so pleased.
Nelson Piquet's first run at the Brickyard ended prematurely when he made heavy contact in turn 4. The impact broke Piquet's ankles and kept him out of action.
Piquet had spent the morning putting up the 6th best time of the day with a speed of more than 228 miles per hour. This is his first appearance at Indy, and he'll remember it for some time. On the crash, he sustained multiple fractures to both lower legs and feet in the accident, as well as suffering a concussion. The impact was so severe it took emergency crews 10 minutes to remove him from the wreckage. Piquet had surgery to correct the leg damage at Methodist Hospital in Indianapolis. He will be out of action for at least a month.
Track. Clear down into turn 2. All the way from turn 1, clear down here. There's Dan Fox sitting right in front of us there. The biggest thing the guy's going to have to worry about when they come back around, cutting their tires and all the carbon fiber laying around.
So we've seen 3 cars. Eddie Cheever is out of his, Stan Fox is his, and it looks like Lynn St. James, the 3rd car. She is still in her car. A.J. Foyt down in the pit area. No longer in two-way communications with his driver, Eddie Cheever. But the yellow flag way up in the corner. Suddenly 2 cars get together, and that was Cheever and Fox. The field darts to the inside, many using the warm-up lanes, which were only built here a few years ago, but probably saved many drivers here today. Stan Fox looks like he got into the wall incredibly hard. We're concerned about him, very concerned. We'll keep an eye, and we won't report anything until we actually have it confirmed.
You can see as we look at this second replay how many tires and suspension pieces began to come off the cars right away and affect cars that really were not part of the original accident at all. Lynn St. James was one of those who was tagged by flying debris. Here's the 3rd one from the car of Bobby Rahal, who of course started fairly far back in the pack. Watch to the right of the screen, and there's where the debris is already bouncing around. Remember, carbon fiber is dark gray in color. It's very hard to see against the track, particularly on a day like this, so it's easy to pick up a flat.
It would look from my vantage point down here in turn 2, Sam and Paul, that something must have broken on the Fox car, because it immediately made a right-hand turn. That's not normal.
Let's go to Jerry Punch.
A.J. Foyt talking to his...
On Friday, we had a sobering reminder that motor racing is indeed dangerous, as Sandro Zanardi lost control of his Lotus at over 150 miles an hour. almost unbelievably, he survived his horrifying crash practically unscathed. But, unsurprisingly, he's a shaken non-starter today.
This morning, Alessandro Zanardi had a huge shunt in the Eau Rouge corner going up to the hill towards Radion. There we see it again. And John, before we start talking about this morning, this was a massive shunt.
It was the biggest shunt I've seen all year. Zanardi, I can't imagine what speed he hit the barrier virtually head on. You saw a flash fire, the car spinning about 10 times across the track, coming to rest at the exit of the Radion corner for his career, and you see the car, not a wheel left on it. But what is impressive is that the basic chassis, the monocoque of the car, as you see, is intact. No injury to any of his limbs. And, well, it's doubtful that Zanardi will be taking part in any of the proceedings for the rest of this weekend. But look at those barriers. That was an enormous impact, probably still doing well over 120 miles an hour when he hit that barrier head on.
Oh my God, a terrible crash. I think it's Danny Ongais. I think it's Ongais, Jack.
And the driver's in the car, Jim. He's still in the car. I can see he's sitting upright. In fact, his feet are outside the car. The car is on fire. Luckily, the flame, I think, is going back away. The car is... of what we managed to get here. The car has already collided for the first time with a wall, and that is where I think these spectators have been injured, because look at the pieces. Now the car goes on fire. It's a ball of fire. By now it's not only the alcohol that's burning, it's an oil tank that's ruptured, because that's when you can see that flame. Look at these wheels, suspension parts. We were speaking earlier of a deformable structure. I've never seen a race car deform as this one has. It obviously hit the wall at a very acute angle. Can you imagine a race driver is in that car right now? All we can do is hope and pray that he is in good condition. He's certainly in good hands. Let us only hope that the good Lord is looking down upon him with good fortune. They're still working, Jim.
Jackie, the only hope I can see is first that the car did tear itself apart as it's supposed to do, and secondly, although we can't see an alcohol fire, it looks as if he might have been out in front of all the fire in the car. This is mere guesswork, naturally.
Well, that was sure to be the case. He certainly was running ahead of it. This is a different angle we're going to see right now. There's the initial impact. Look at that flame, and there's a car running underneath there. You can see there passing him. Look at the car destroying itself along there. Absolutely sliding now with that oil fire now collecting. And unfortunately, very obvious in that is Danny Ongais himself. His head was moving around at that point, but I'm sure he's unconscious by now. His leg, unfortunately, looked as if it's been rather badly broken. The flame there, you see, is certainly an oil fire. Danny Ongais, a great driver.
Through the ringer trying to get a ride, and he was anticipating a ride from Stefan Johansson, but the engine just never showed up. So finally AJ Foyt gave some equipment to Scott Harrington, and unfortunately that was the end result for Harrington just before 6 o'clock. You'll see in turn 2, right in front of the turn 2 suites, just pinched it a little too low, and Harrington went in nose first. Scott Harrington was transported to Methodist Hospital. Dr. Bach reports that Scott was awake and alert, and will be transported to Methodist for further evaluation. And you see, just pinched it a little bit too low there in turn 2. Scott Harrington has certainly had a rough go of it here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway the last 2 years.
To make sure he's okay. I don't see any movement. Boy, look at that car.
They were trying to take push out of the car, and that's the one risk you take. If you take too much push out, the next thing that happens, it gets loose.
So Scott Harrington into the wall. All of the USAC rescue team is there. There's more even on the way. They use light water.
When you see the car here entering the corner, everything looks fine. I think this is probably at the end of the back straightaway. No big problem here. But as you follow it, the thing just jumps sideways. Now, that's a little bit early in the corner, but you see it does a 360, and it gets in left front, left side, both left sides go away. Very heavy impact, and, you know, it's such a fine line. We're not sure, again, we've seen this with engine failures causing this kind of situation. People don't realize how much of a fine line it is. Again, the car jumps sideways. We're not sure what the reason is, but they're doing almost 360s, and it's getting into to the nose of the race car, and it slaps both the left front nose and left rear real hard.
We didn't see anything as the car started to slide that would indicate an engine failure. All of that analysis will have to happen. Our concern right now is for the good health of Scott Harrington. Sports Center is coming up next. They will continue to track this story, as well as that announcement that should come in a few minutes.
But there's near tragedy in first practice. On Thursday morning, Karl Wendlinger has an accident in his Sauber, and he's in a coma for 19 days before he makes a complete recovery.
The condition is serious, but stable. After the telemetry data, Karl braked 13 meters later on that very lap than on the previous fastest lap.
Der schwärzeste Tag für Peter Sauber in der Formel 1 war sicherlich der 12. Mai 1994, der Tag, als Karl Wendlinger in Monte Carlo nach der Ausfahrt aus dem Tunnel so schwer verunglückte, dass er lange Zeit im Koma lag.
Paul, he needs the bad luck for Dixon to fall back to make this all happen. And he's got to be thinking inside his cockpit right now.
Whoa! Big crash! Major incident. Kenny Brack getting way high up into the fence. So 2 cars involved.
That's Scheckter right there. You can see him moving inside the cockpit. His helmet, his steering wheel comes off. Car heavily damaged, but we have one other car right now that is very, very heavily damaged.
Now what will the IRL do? What will the officials decide to do? The debris from Kenny Brack's car, who got way up into the fence. Almost reminds you of an accident Davey Hamilton had here.
And that car is torn apart, Paul. That PCC right there is part of the undertray of the car.
Here is the replay of what happened. Brack on the high side of Thomas Scheckter, down the backstretch. At the end of the backstretch, there's the contact, and Brack's car up into the wall, virtually splitting in half. And here is the shot now from the end of the backstretch. It's a crash very reminiscent of Davey Hamilton's accident here a few years ago, in which he sustained very severe leg damage. The catch fence keeping the car contained inside the racetrack, but still resulting in a lot of damage to the car. Hopefully, no, at least life-threatening injuries to Kenny Brack.